Hey guys, CryptoDad. Thanks for joining me for my Friday night live stream Q&A live from Michigan. Throw out questions that you've got and I'll do my best to get them answered. We'll talk about Bitcoin news and I'll move some crypto around. So let's get started. All right, guys, welcome everybody to my living room, my spare bedroom downstairs. Tonight we're going to talk about the price of Bitcoin, what went on since last week. Bitcoin's white paper turned 11 on October 31st. It was a birthday. So we'll go over some of the stats that Bitcoin has achieved over the last 11 years. Pretty impressive. Talk about password management, password security, and some privacy news. Tails 4.0 is out, so we'll go through that. All of the news stories that I'm going to cover are in the description down below, so you're welcome to follow those links and read those articles on your own. So let's get started. Let me see who's here. We'll go over here to this. All right, Scott Lee's here, bright and early, right on time. Mr. David is here in Texas. It did snow last night, but it kind of melted off, so the candy isn't frozen. Although I do like my chocolate cold. I like to put my Kit Kats and my M&Ms in the fridge. I like to eat them when, the chocolate's nice and cold, but not frozen. Owen Brown is here. Welcome. Crypto Shopping is here. Welcome. CFI Randy, once again. I believe you've been here before. All right, so let me get my... we'll go to... oops, I've got to change my res for you guys so you can see my screen. I normally use this screen in 38 by 40 by 2160 resolution, but it comes out kind of small on your screen, especially if you're not viewing my YouTube video in full screen. If you're just viewing me in the YouTube interface, then I look really small, and my screen even smaller. So here we are. Bitcoin has been, I guess, what they call consolidating for the last week, just over the 9,000 mark. I think it may have dipped a little bit below that. But if you remember last week, it was on a tear. And it was really cool because during the live stream, it shot up quite a bit. So it had been down around 740, 7,400. And we're going to have to do like a month so we can see what happened last week. I guess here's where we were last week. Around 75, maybe even, around 74, I guess. 74.50. And then on Friday of last week, it just shot up. And I think, I'm not sure where we were when we started the live stream, but maybe it was around the 85 mark. But then by the end of the live stream, we had actually broken... I can't get up there. Well, it didn't show it, but we were over 10 by the end of the live stream. We definitely had broken 10. Maybe not on this particular chart. Maybe just on some different... I could have sworn it was Coin Market Cap. But anyway, so after that, of course, after it broke 10, it retreated back to around 91, and that's kind of where it's been most of the week. A little bit up, a little bit down, a little bit up, a little bit down, but definitely nowhere near 75, right? It's definitely kind of left that behind, at least in the short term. So here we go. And it's looking good today. It's actually up today. If we look at the 1-day chart, let's look at 7-day. It's been kind of doesn't look. It looks pretty much stable over the last. Here we go with a 1-day chart. We were down to around 91, and now, well, most of the latter part of the day, we've been kind of on an upswing. So that's good news. Betty is here. Aloha, Scott Lee. Good evening, everyone. Scott Lee with the little hang 10 footprints. Fraser, Mr. David. All right. Yeah, you never know. People might dump Bitcoin or not. So let's jump in. The first big story is Bitcoin's white paper turns 11 as the network passes several interesting milestones. So the white paper is basically an outline of what Bitcoin is and how it works. It's kind of a technical document. And this white paper was posted in a Reddit group, I believe. I think it was Reddit. And by anonymous guy, Satoshi Nakamoto, or group of people, whoever you want to call them. Pooies. I got to take this. Doggone it. Elite Indiscreet. This is Rex. Hi. Oh my God, you're right. I did not send someone out there. Okay, I could get someone out there, or is it too late? Okay. Oh, I'm so sorry, Jacqueline. We've been kind of busy, and I forgot to do it right away, and didn't get anybody out there. I could have done it too. I had somebody on standby. I'm so sorry. Okay, you want me to have someone out there Monday morning? Okay. All right. Okay, you got it. Thank you. Yeah, sure. Bye-bye. Oh, Rex messed up. He forgot to send a driver out to pick up some alterations as usual. Not as usual. I usually catch all my runs. But I let one slip through the cracks today. We were kind of busy. Hopefully I won't get in too much trouble over that one. Okay, check out Mitch Ray for the most active crypto community. Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay, so where were we? We were talking about this before I got that scolded there. Basically he posted, I've been working on a new electronic cash system that's fully peer-to-peer with no trusted third party. Which kind of puts it all in, in a good summary of what Bitcoin is all about. And if you remember, this was 2008. And there had been several attempts at digital cash. But I think the one that they all suffered from the fact that they needed a centralized authority in order to verify transactions, right? In order to send money to someone from one person to another, the system had to be centralized in sort of a way to verify that the person paying had the money and the person received the money, right? So this was a post for the peer-to-peer with no trusted third party. So, and then he attached the white paper to that. And then not too much further, they mined the first block. And that was in January of 2009. January of 2009, the Genesis block was mined and Bitcoin became live and on its own blockchain. Now let's look at some of the milestones of Bitcoin over the last 11 years. So last week, if you remember, it jumped 40% in 24 hours, October 26th, breaking the 10,000 mark briefly. So that was quite a jump. And I think it was only the third largest increase in Bitcoin's history, but the previous two were when Bitcoin was much lower. It says third largest daily gain in price history. But the other two were when Bitcoin was pennies, and then the second was when Bitcoin was in the low hundreds, I believe. So this one was quite impressive, you know, a couple of $1,000s worth of jumps. All right, and then Bitcoin mined the 18 millionth coin, leaving only 3 million left to mine, and that was a month or two ago. So we had that. And then Bitcoin fees collected reached 1 billion. Now these are the fees that the miners are rewarded for when mining for Bitcoin. So if you're running a miner and it discovers the latest block, which is a mathematical puzzle, you're given a Bitcoin reward. But you're also awarded all of the transaction fees that you accumulated in that block. So all of the transaction fees that were processed by that block, those fees are rewarded to the miner that discovers that last block. So this $1 billion is only the transaction fees that have been earned by miners. This does not include the Bitcoin rewards. That's how Bitcoin gets created, the rewards. But this figure does not include rewards, just the mining or the transaction fees. So pretty impressive, right? Okay. Stand coin control and wallets. Can you explain it and how to use it for maximizing privacy? If you understand coin control in wallets such as Electrum. Well, I'm not sure exactly what you mean by coin control. A Bitcoin wallet, like Electrum, lives on your desktop, and it holds the private keys of whatever Bitcoin addresses you've generated using that wallet. And if you're trying to maintain privacy, I guess you could be running a VPN, which would direct all of your internet traffic through an encrypted tunnel, basically. So, and that's one way to increase privacy. You might also try to run the Tor browser or create a Tor circuit, but I believe that when you run the Tor browser, at least on Windows, you're not really, it's only the browser that's using the Tor circuits. So your Electrum wallet would be just connected to your internet. It might be tunneled through your VPN because that's sort of a network type of thing. But so any device connecting to the internet would tunnel through your VPN. But if you want to use, if you're trying to achieve privacy with your Bitcoin, then your VPN is your best bet. Now, I don't know if there's some sort of built-in coin control in Electrum that you're referring to. I haven't used Electrum in a while. Now, there are different versions of different Bitcoin wallets that might be more geared towards privacy. And then, of course, there are privacy coins which encrypt the sender and receiver addresses over the transmission. This might be a good time to point out that Bitcoin uses cryptography in order to validate transactions. It uses the science of cryptography, but it is not encrypted. So encrypted means that the data is scrambled during transmission, among other things. It basically just means that the communication is encoded, whether it's a coded letter or it's a coded transmission. Generally, we use encryption on a pretty regular basis when we use Amazon or we log into our bank. Any of those types of transactions are encrypted end to end. So if someone were to be listening in on the transmission, they would only see encrypted data. Bitcoin does not scramble the transmissions. It uses encryption to digitally sign transactions using the private key of the holder. So if you're running a wallet that has private keys and you want to send some Bitcoin to your friend, in order to do that, you need to use your wallet, and it does a mathematical transformation using those private keys that only you control. And then basically it's called signing the transaction. And then the private key stays on your computer, but that signed transaction is like, it generates like a little file. And that file can be cryptographically verified by anyone on the blockchain. It shows that you possess the private key, that you definitely had those coins when you generated that transaction. Right? So it's funny, we often think that Bitcoin is encrypted, but it's not. It uses cryptography to achieve its ends. So if you're worried about privacy, then you might want to think about trying some of the privacy-oriented coins. But I'll look into this coin control thing and see if that's a new feature they've added to Electrum. It's possible. I'm not aware of it. Let's move on to our next story here. Let's see where we're going to go here. Yeah. Speaking of privacy and anonymity, the Tails distribution of Linux has been released. I did a pretty recent video on Tails. You might want to check out. Let's see if I can find my list of videos. Here we go. Oh, these are the uploads. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I did a video on Tails. I heard that the new Tails release was out. So let's put that down here.
Oh wait, no, it's flipped, so you can't.
Yeah, I hope I can do this. If it'll let me. Okay. Yeah, that's my YouTube video demoing how to do Tails. So basically with Tails, let's see if it'll take us over there. Yeah, you're basically going to download it, an ISO onto your computer. And then after you've downloaded that ISO, you're going to sort of burn it, I guess. You would, in the old days, we call it burning CDs, but you know, you basically put that disk image onto a flash drive. You can also burn it to a CD, but nowadays I prefer to do flash drives. And then the Tails would be on that flash drive. It's a self-contained operating system. And then you boot from that flash drive. You connect it to your computer and boot from it. And so it gives you, if done properly, it's going to give you a great amount of privacy and anonymity, right? Because it has no identifying information when you boot it up. Now, if you're home when you do it, it might be obvious to your ISP that you're using Tails. So you might want to try and use it from like a coffee shop or something like that. So if you're really into privacy, then this is a great operating system. But you have to remember it, every time you boot it, it's like fresh, right? So you can't really save documents in there. You can create kind of a container to save documents, but it's like it's fresh. It's like a fresh install every time you boot into it. So perhaps you could have a secondary USB that has files on it, but you're kind of leaking personal information when you do that. So it's a little bit tricky to use, but for the, you know, for the really privacy oriented, this is a cool operating system. And they just came out with the latest version of it. This is what it looks like when you boot into it. It's got the Tor browser. Yeah. And then, like I said, there are ways to create a container that will maintain some, there's a word for it. I don't know what it's called. Persistence. I think that's the word I'm looking for. I mean, you'll have some sort of persistence, like your KeyPass and everything else, your saved passwords and that kind of stuff. Right? Pretty cool. And let's see. There's a great article by 1Password. You guys probably know I use 1Password, Password Manager. And so on Halloween, they came out with this article about old passwords haunting you. It's kind of appropriate for Halloween. So if you've got old accounts just kind of laying around that have like old passwords and login information from say 2013, 14, or 2009 or whenever, you might want to log into those accounts and just make sure that if you don't ever use those accounts anymore, you should close them if it's possible to close them, right? And before you close them, even like get rid of any financial information that may have been in there, right? Just blank it out or put in dummy information and then save it and then maybe close it after that. That clean up after yourself, basically. Now, some email accounts, like a Gmail account, an old Gmail account, it's gonna just live forever, right? I don't know that you can, I think you can delete Gmail accounts. But let's just say you want to get rid of it, but you can't really, let's just say it's there and you feel like you want to hang on to it. Just log into it and make sure you have a good password, right? Because back, in 10 years ago, maybe you weren't very savvy with your passwords and you were using the same one for just about everything. You just want to beef up the security of all these old accounts because they might fall into the wrong hands, right? So that's pretty good advice. I think I talked a little bit about the email addresses, right? So just kind of go through your old accounts, close them down if you're not using them, or just beef up the password, or add two-factor if you can't really close them, emails. And then these blackmail scams where someone might send you an email and say, hey, and the first line of the email is your password that you used. And they'll say, hey, I got the password to this account and I recorded you laundering money or whatever, and I'm going to report you to the FBI. They scare you into thinking they really know what you're doing. They're just sort of phishing, right? They're just sort of hoping that they're going to trick you by having that password. And they may very well have your it should be your password. You might recognize it. So just log into your old accounts, update passwords. This password manager works really well to generate good, long, secure passwords and makes it real easy to, update the password on your accounts and then save them. And then you can sort of go through, let me see if I can, like right here. Like there was if you remember a while back, there was a breach of Twitter, and so they were recommending that you update your passwords. So the password manager will alert you whenever there's a breach of certain types of accounts, and then give you a warning. So it's pretty good that way. So, and then it will just point it out. You can log in and update your password. So just be mindful of all of the accounts you have laying around out there. And like this blackmail thing, don't fall for the blackmail. Just, ignore the email and go beef up security on those accounts that you may have. Because if they really had any leverage over you, they would probably have your computer locked up. You wouldn't be able to use it. So if you have an account, say an old gaming account, and it gets breached and you read about it, you'll want to be especially mindful of your current accounts and just keep an eye on them. Maybe update passwords, add two-factor authentication in case that old information is used to try to break into some of your newer accounts, right? And I shouldn't have to say this, but it's very bad practice to use the same password on old accounts, on the same password across several accounts. Because if they breach one, then they'll of course try that password on your other accounts, right? It's just human nature. So, and I know it's hard to come up with a brand new password for every account. So a password manager is a good tool to help you. I have logged into a few accounts on my work computer. Should I be worried about that? Well, not necessarily a security breach if you log into your personal accounts from work, but more a privacy breach. In today's work environment, now back in the 90s and the early 2000s, I mean, I think everybody just kind of logged into Facebook and whatever accounts they had at work. Now work policies are, becoming more internet savvy. They're probably not allowing you to log in to certain accounts. Some policies tell you not to. Some IT departments prevent you from logging into YouTube and Facebook when you're at work. But keep this in mind, no matter what their IT policies are and their login policies, there is a policy that you may not be aware of that you probably signed at some point, which says that they have total right to see anything you do while you're at work. So if you're logging into your Facebook at work, just keep in mind that they will probably see the IT department will probably know your username and password because you're logging in from work. So it's really not best practice to log in from work. They're probably not gonna, the IT people at your office are probably not gonna try to log into your Facebook account, but anything you do at work is fair game for them, right? It's a total, they own the system, they own the computer. So if you're using their computers to log into your accounts at work, then it's, they've got your login information. So it's probably, privacy wise, not great, and even security wise, not really the most secure thing, right? Don't feel like just because it's your cubicle that you really are entitled to any privacy when you're at work. You are not, right? So just kind of keep that in mind. So if you had a Monarch Wallet on an old phone without a SIM card on an airplane mode, it's pretty close to a hardware wallet. Monarch allows me to have my own private keys. So Johnny is asking about a Monarch wallet, which is an iOS-based wallet that he's got on his phone. And it's an old phone with no SIM card, so it doesn't connect to the internet, or it doesn't connect to the phone networks. It might work with his Wi-Fi, right? But it's pretty close to a hardware wallet because it controls his private keys. Now it's not, it is, and that's a pretty good, if you got an old phone laying around and you don't have a Ledger Nano S or X or anything like that, and you just kind of want to create a pretty secure wallet, then that's not a bad solution. But it does need to connect to the internet to send transactions out. And it's not specifically designed to prevent the private keys from being revealed. Most apps, wallet apps, do protect the private keys, but not like a Ledger, right? A Ledger or a Trezor has the buttons that you have to press, to sign transactions, where a phone-based wallet does not. Now, I use wallets on my phone, and I consider them pretty secure, right? But you never know. Your phone could get compromised. But that's a pretty good solution for a hardware wallet. But it's not completely air-gapped, right? Because it does connect to the internet at some point. Unless it doesn't, right? Unless you don't ever connect it to the internet. You created the wallet. You scanned in one of your addresses, and you just simply send funds to it, and you never send funds out, then it probably is pretty air-gapped, right? If it never connects. You could use it that way, all right? And then if you decide you need to withdraw down the road, and you do withdraw a little bit, withdraw it all, because withdrawing a little bit if you like make that connection to the internet and withdraw some of it, you've just sort of compromised the rest of the balance. So if you're going to withdraw some of it, then withdraw the rest of it somewhere else more secure. All right. That's just best practice with an air-gapped wallet. And then maybe you could wipe that phone and create a new wallet with a different private key, right? That has not been exposed. You've exposed the public key to the internet when you send transactions out. So you've compromised it a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit. We've been getting phishing emails and I'm worried about security. How do I get my stuff off their network? If you've been using your accounts at work, then I'm sure that the server logs have all your information and there's really no way you're going to get off any of that history. But at the very least, if you want to just log out of the account from your desktop computer and maybe delete the app, I mean, it's kind of hard with Facebook, right? It's a web-based social media platform. I don't know what you were using at work, but just log out basically, and maybe go into your browser and clear your history. If possible, not every work computer will allow you to like get into the guts of the browser. You might even be able to go into the password section if they're saving any of your passwords and clear all that stuff out within the browser. There's a lot of stuff you can do in your browser to sort of clean up your history and all that. But like I said, if you're at work and you're on a network, then the server logs are going to have all that information. So they're, I mean, you could ask them nicely. I doubt it though. Say, hey, can you delete all those account information?
Dude, the kid just said hardcore.
Okay. Oh, no problem, Johnny Crypto. EKS. Google will monitor all your devices. Got a security alert today that one of my phones was offline 285 days. Google now wants 2-step verification. PN on all accounts. Yeah. Google accounts are, I kind of wanted to, I'll move some crypto around, but I wanted to talk a little bit about privacy and anonymity. It's almost non-existent. So, let's say that I would like to buy some Monero on an exchange, right? Not every exchange has Monero, right? But let's do Bittrex, right? Bittrex, you can buy Monero on Bittrex, but you have to have a verified. Bittrex requires you to identify yourself if you want to use their exchange. So that's a no-go, right? There's no privacy there because you've verified yourself. Then there's Shapeshift. You can buy Monero on Shapeshift, but Shapeshift requires you now to have an account, right? So there's no more, and verify your ID, right? So there's no more anonymity on Shapeshift, right? Now, Binance also will allow you, has Monero, Binance proper, and you probably can still log into Binance using your non-verified account, right? But it probably is an email that's associated with you, right? So if you want to buy any cryptocurrency without revealing your personal identity or using anything that connects to you, then you're going to need to somehow get an email anonymously, right? That's not connected to you in any way or form, which is practically impossible. You may not think about this much, but I've tried. It's extremely difficult. Try to log in, try to connect to your VPN and connect to Tor, and then go onto Google's website and create an email. It just doesn't function properly because it knows that you're on like a Tor-based connection. And then at some point during this process of creating a Gmail, it wants you to give them your phone number so that it can send you a text to verify the account. Almost every single free email does that now. Yahoo, AOL, Gmail, Microsoft Mail, all of them require you to give them your phone number to verify the email. And then they'll send you a text. So now that email that you tried to create anonymously is connected to your phone number, right? And anyone can, not anyone, but, any government person can look up your phone number and see who it belongs to. And bam, your identity is now tied to that email. So in order to buy cryptocurrency anonymously, you need to create an account, anonymous account somewhere using VPN and Tor with an email. But even if you're using VPN and Tor, that email has got personally identifying information. Even if it's, trojo5565@gmail.com, in order to create that Gmail, you needed to give them your phone number. Or if you created another Gmail sub-Gmail account, it's still tied to your main Gmail account. Almost impossible to go into Gmail and create just a fresh anonymous Gmail. It used to be real easy. Not anymore. There are certain internet Tor sites that will allow you to create a Tor-based email that you can use on the ClearNet as like an email. So, for example, I go on Tor and I create this email. I think there was one called Signet or what, I forget what it was. But you could go on the Tor website and create an email called, CryptoDad's@signet.com or .net or whatever it was, and it didn't ask you for any phone number or anything else. It just you could log into the account, and then you could send yourself an email from wherever, and it would come into that inbox. So you could use it to create an account, and then they would verify by sending you an email. Almost every kind of internet account sends you an email to verify. That's the most basic form of verification. So you've got an anonymous email, and then you log into a cryptocurrency exchange, set up an account with that email, and then it sends that email. You log into Tor to check it, and boom. But those emails are most of those sites got shut down, right? There aren't very many of those anonymous email clients out there anymore. So being anonymous on the internet is almost impossible these days. This is a bright, cheery speech, isn't it? Here's some good news. There was a conference, and it was Splunk, data analytics giant Splunk, raised $40,000 for charity from 10,000 attendees at an annual conference in Las Vegas by gifting everyone an Ethereum-based blockchain wallet in what became a showcase for the power of big data merged with blockchain technology. Now, I had to read this article a couple of times to sort of wrap my brain around it. But I guess what they did was everybody at the conference had paid somehow, like with their credit card or whatever, to be in this conference, right? They had a badge. But as they entered, they were gifted this wallet on their phone, right? They were like, okay, I don't know if they had to download an app or if it just ran in their web browser or whatever. But by being a member of this conference, they were gifted a certain amount of swag money in this wallet called Buttercup Bucks, right? And they could use those Buttercup Bucks to buy swag activity and donate, right? So at the end of the conference, if they hadn't spent all of their swag money, or they hadn't spent any of it, right? They had the option of using the leftover to donate to, charity. So it's pretty cool. And the interesting part about this article was they didn't have to go through a bunch of hoops to get the wallet, right? Now I'm sure their identification, they had badges to get into the conference, so they were sort of, but the wallet was just sort of given to everybody anonymously to a certain extent, right? They were just like, boom, here's a wallet with $50 worth of swag money in it, and you can do what you want with it. And at the end of the conference, people were totally willing to just donate that change to wherever. So I like this little paragraph here. It was a different mindset. People are hesitant to donate via their credit card, especially at a cybersecurity or a data science conference, because of potential risks, right? Because if I donate to a charity with my credit card, they know who I am. They've got my credit card number. They're gonna, bug me. But if I just have a anonymous wallet full of swag, cryptocurrency, why not, right? And so they were able to get like 40 grand in donations from all what was left over in these people's wallets. And one of them, I don't know where it is, but you should read the article, because one of the participants went around to all her friends and said, hey, we're going to donate to this charity. And I guess this one particular charity, 10 grand, Human Trafficking Awareness Group, Global Emancipation Network. 2,000 individual donations. Pretty cool. Yeah. Highest donation, 10 grand. She went around to all her friends and asked for their unused tokens so she could do this. So this is just one, you're hearing a lot about crypto regulations and trying to make them mainstream, and all these new things the government is trying to do. They're trying to make it like money, right? They're trying to make it non-anonymous. And they want to make us feel like if we're anonymous, we're all criminals. Not normal people want privacy, right? That's why we have curtains on our windows and doors on our bathrooms, right? That's what I heard. So why is it so evil to just want your financial transactions to remain private? I don't think it is, but they want us to think it is. Let's see, any more? Yeah, there's a story about Telegram. The only reason I bring this up is because ever since 2017, people spam my YouTube comments with talking about Gram tokens. And because there was talk that Telegram was going to come out with their own cryptocurrency. So there have been scammers sent for the past 2.5-3 years trying to get people to link to websites where you buy fake Gram tokens. So it's finally becoming a reality, right? But it's still not quite there yet. This is like a test bot where you can go. We can check it out. Test Gram wallet. Set up Gram on your own. See, here's their GitHub site. So this GitHub is a site where programmers post their code bases, and they can check out the code and work on it, and submit the code, and fix bugs and that kind of stuff. So it's kind of a repository for code bases, and this is the test Gram code base on GitHub. So you can download, but it's a little more easier to do it like this, right? You download the Windows version of the test token, and it'll generate a private key, and you can request some test TON tokens and play around with it a little bit. But if you remember, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission kind of shut down the Gram ICO. They said it was, what was it?
Wait, that means she's second head.
The launch was delayed with the United States SEC deemed Telegram's 1.7 billion grams token offering illegal on October 11th. Yeah, it's always been a little shady anyway. But there were so many scams surrounding Telegram tokens. It's just weird that it's finally becoming a reality. Okay, so let's go with some questions. Yeah, I like this EKS burner wallet idea that he had. Very similar to this article that we talked about with the burner wallet, right? They were their real phones that were connected, but they kind of gave them this burner cryptocurrency. So pretty cool.
Oh my god, wait, you can see my eyes pointing at this thing.
Yeah, I mean, Mr. David made a comment about, you know, even if you manage to buy this cryptocurrency anonymously, when you finally spend it, it's going to somebody, if it's a public transaction, then somebody somewhere is going to wonder where you got it from, right? But if you've ever listened to the Crypto Lark, he points out quite often that it is illegal for some in the U.S. to buy a used car with cash, right? The U.S. government is deemed making a purchase that large with cash illegal, right? Which is pretty crazy when you think about it. So, you know, cash is used to, you know, in the past, then it was anonymous, right? But not so much anymore. But yeah, I mean, you're going to have to get a title for that car, and then they're going to ask you how you got it. Now, of course, if you're dealing on the dark web, then you would spend that money for dark things, right? It wouldn't be public. But yeah, I mean, eventually you really would want to go buy some groceries or buy some gas for your car or whatever. So it's not very practical if it's totally private. How do I store FCT on Ledger Nano X since Poloniex is not available to U.S. citizens as of today? That's a good question, Felicia. Let's just look and see what it is. You're probably gonna be kind of let's do this coin. I think that's it, right? Factum. It looks like it's a coin. So it may not be, let's go here. I don't see a wallet here. My first instinct would be to find a wallet for this cryptocurrency and install the wallet on your computer or your phone, and then use that wallet to withdraw. You're asking about the Ledger Nano S, so let's just check to see if it's supported.
I swear, people see this.
I cannot believe I forgot that pickup earlier today. Oh my God. Okay. Supported crypto assets, right? Where were we? Factum? Factum. This is the right cryptocurrency, right, Felicia? Oh, there it is. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. All right, so they're saying that you need to use my Factum wallet. Blah. Client-side wallet interface. Under active, we there cannot reverse transactions or recover funds. Okay, whatever. I'm just going to go through. All right, import factoid address, generate 12 word, import addresses from Ledger Nano X. But does that mean that there's an app for that? Let's check here. Let's look in our manager. I'm going to need to connect my device here. Now, I don't know if it's like an ER. It's not clear to me that if it's an ERC20 token or not. So let's see. Be very surprised to see it just like an app. But I've been surprised before. Okay. All right, let me switch over here to this guy. Let's zoom in here. All right, we want to move this closer. There we go. I just like to show you what's going on my ledger. See, it's asking me to allow ledger, so I'll just click both buttons. All right, and then you'll see there that allows me into the manager app. So let's look at that. Hey, there it is. Boom. All right, so we're going to install, we'll install it on our ledger. And before I get this in time, yeah, there it's processing. All right, and there now we've got it. Whoops. All right, let's go to, we're going to go back, well, let's go backwards. Where is it? There, see, factum. All right, so I'm going to click. Now, when I installed factum on this ledger using their app, it created a factum private key on my device. This device does not hold cryptocurrency, it holds keys. It's a key ring. It holds private keys. So we just installed a private key for factum on our device. We also have the public key can be derived from that private key, and that from that public key we can derive an address, right? So I'm going to hit factum. There I am in factum. I'm going to get out of manager. Let's go back over here. And let's do, I'm going to hold this here. Let's do next. And it's going to connect to my Ledger Nano X. Right? And I can choose any of the addresses. I tend to sort of choose the first one. Let's nickname it Ledger. Alright. Alright. And then I'm assuming something is going to happen on my wallet pretty soon. Let's do add and continue. And then manage wallet. Okay, they're giving me an address, which I can copy. What is this? Submit. Okay. All right, so there we go. We got an address. Now you can go over to Poloniex, right? We'll copy this address into our clipboard. I don't have a Poloniex account, right? But you would log into your Poloniex account, go to your factoid wallet in Poloniex, and do a transfer or withdrawal, whatever they call it, and paste in that address, right? And then you could use your ledger to manage this myfactoid.com wallet, whatever. Right? So that's how you would do that. Good question. I'm glad it was a straightforward answer. Right? I hate it when it's a hard answer. Turned out to be a pretty straightforward answer, right? So we went to Ledger. We typed in the name of that coin, and we found that Ledger does support the coin, and it gave us a link to that wallet. And so all we needed to do was go to the Ledger Manager and download their app And then once we were in the app, we were able to create a export the public or export the address so that we could send factoid, receive factoid. Now we can also send some out too if someone gives us an address. But I'm assuming at this moment all you really want to do is just receive some, since you're going to be locked out of Poloniex pretty soon. Or they're going to delist this, whatever. It's cool that they had it, because I think I had a little coin on Poloniex that I don't think there was a wallet for it that I was aware of. And it was, you know, there are a lot of cryptocurrencies just sort of failed, right? That's part of the game. Let's go over here. No problem, Felicia. Best of luck to you. Hope you were able to follow that. If I went too fast, you can always just you know, scrub through the YouTube video and pause as you're going through. But it was pretty straightforward. It wasn't too bad. Bye, Scott. Oh, pies again? Man, I want to try your pie. Pineapple pie. Mm. Yeah, so yeah, we can look at crypto.com. Crypto.com is going good. Let's look at the phone here. So here we are, BTC's at 277, 278, doing pretty good. Everything's kind of up. Things are looking pretty good while we're talking. So let's go over to crypto.com. Looks like, oh, I just got paid a little bit, right? I just earned 0.003 from my 3-month crypto earn deposit, right? We talked, and then I earned 43 CRO from my 3-month crypto earn deposit. So there are a lot of sites now that are paying you interest for storing cryptocurrency, and crypto.com is one of them. So if we go over here to crypto earn, you can see that I made several deposits. After it comes up, it should come up here pretty soon. So the oldest deposit is BNB. So I put 11.79 BNB in their crypto earn program, right? I deposited in there for a term, 3 months. Now they have 1 month and they have flexible too. So they have a flexible term that you can deposit into and earn interest. I believe it's 4%, and you have the option of withdrawing any time. But on these 3 that I've got here, you can see the Binance coin I'm earning 8%. That's yearly, so I'm not going to earn 8% at the end of 3 months. It's only going to be partial of that, right? It'd need to be in for a whole year to earn the complete 8%. So keep that in mind as well. But then look at the crypto.com coin. That CRO coin is giving me 18% yearly, which is closer to, like, you know, 4 or 8% for that 3-month term. And then the Bitcoin that I put in there is also earning 8%. And it tells me how much longer I have before I can withdraw it, right? I committed to this 3-month term on all 3 of these. But the Binance coin is, I've only got 25 days left before I can withdraw it. The Bitcoin, I won't be able to withdraw till December. And I could always just, you know, let it ride, right? How do they do that? It's just let it ride. Woo! Like, let it ride. So, and then, let's see. If I hit plus, I think it talks, if I could, I don't know why this phone is being so uncooperative. All right, so let's hit Bitcoin. There, those are the different terms, right? Flexible, 1 month and 3 month, right? And this is Bitcoin. But if you do CRO, then you get much higher terms when you deposit their own cryptocurrency. It makes sense, right? It's their cryptocurrency. It's like water for them, right? To just let you use. So if you're just going to store it on their servers, then they'll pay you a lot of money to do that, right? They would prefer that people not cash out their cryptocurrency. So it's pretty decent, right? A lot of sites are starting to offer this. Coinbase is offering you interest on your their stable coin. I think Binance, BitFi, a lot of websites out there that will stake or pay you decent interest on cryptocurrency deposits. And think about this. I'm just going to steal a line from CryptoLark, but if you are sitting on a bunch of cash, let's say you've got $100,000 in the bank. It's not really earning much at all these days, right? Cash doesn't give, your savings account are probably paying you less than 1%. So if you were to even take 20% of that cash, buy Bitcoin, and then store it somewhere like Crypto.com or BitFi or any other crypto exchange that's paying interest, then that same cash that was just sitting in your bank is now sitting on a cryptocurrency exchange, earning interest, decent interest. Yeah, maybe a little more riskier than a bank, but a lot of these cryptocurrency exchanges are now FDI insured, and they have insurance, so they're a safe place to park your crypto if you're not doing anything with it. And if you're just holding Bitcoin too, you could park it somewhere, like a small percentage of it. The crypto community is all about having your own private keys, but there's nothing wrong with putting a small portion of it somewhere where it can earn some interest. Put it to work for you. Passive income, right? It's like the banks don't want our cash. You're right. It seems like that, doesn't it? Right. I don't know what it is. Banks don't pay much interest anymore. Now, let me check something real quick here before I reveal my information. Yeah. Okay. So we talked about the Monarch Wallet earlier, and I think I may have the Monarch Wallet, but I don't think that when I changed phones, there wasn't anything in it. So I probably don't have anything in my Monarch Wallet. But I do have the Trust Wallet on here. This is the Trust Wallet. It's a phone-based wallet that stores your private keys on the device. I'm sure it uses some kind of encryption to store the private keys. And then you can send and receive crypto. And it's a very versatile wallet. It can hold all kinds of crypto. It holds Raven Coin, Binance coins, Stellar, and BEP tokens, which are sub-Binance tokens. It holds Ethereum and Bitcoin. And so by virtue of it supporting Ethereum, it supports a lot of ERC20 tokens. It supports Tron, and it also supports BitTorrent. So pretty cool wallet. And I'm not sure who was talking about it earlier, but they were saying that they were using an old phone that didn't have a SIM card for a Monarch wallet, kind of as a cold wallet. Now, in that case, my assumption is that he set it up. He created the wallet while he was not connected to anything, and it generated the private key. And then he got the receiving address off the phone and maybe wrote it down and then used it to throw crypto in there. It's sort of like a cold wallet. So, but I'm not doing that with this phone. This phone is fully connected to the internet, and I am trusting that their encryption is such that these funds are safe in my wallet. And the Apple platform is pretty good about, malware, right? The Apple Store apps have to be verified on the App Store to, it's less open than, say, Android. Android, there's a lot of places you can get Android apps and install them on your phone, and if you're not careful, you might get malware, whereas Apple is a little more of a closed system. But always be cognizant, test things out. Don't put a whole bunch in there. Don't use it for your nest egg or anything. All right? But it's fun to carry crypto around, maybe show people, maybe tell them, hey, you want to download the Trust Wallet? I'll send you like $10 worth of Bitcoin. You could try it out. Kind of spread the word, right? So Trust Wallet is a cool phone-based wallet that you can use, and you control the private keys. Whereas the Crypto.com, this is a custodial wallet. They control the private keys. I don't know what happened to it. It just got hacked, right? It just went black. Ah. All right, still there. Thank goodness. All right. All right, any requests? Let me see what people are talking about. I don't really have anything to transfer right now. Hi, I was wondering if you have my Monarch Wallet on an old phone without a SIM card on an airplane mode. Oh wait, that's way. Ooh, that was all. It was like a time traveling there. Big things coming. 11/14. Crypto time. Welcome. Juan Zayas. Hello. Welcome. Bobby. Bobby Yek. YECK. Big things coming 11/14, and I hope that's crypto.com. Good people. They sponsor me. We made a partnership, and they said, hey, we'll support your channel if you'll do videos for us, demoing our stuff, and that's kind of what I do anyway. And what more could I ask for to partner with a company named crypto.com, being the CryptoDad, right? Coinbase, I've done so many videos for Coinbase, and they've never offered to partner with me. Of course, I've never asked them directly. But, most of my videos basically are free commercials for whatever coin I'm demoing or whatever exchange I'm demoing. So why not partner with someone like crypto.com? Really great people, too. Really like their platform and their wallet and their MCO card and all that cool stuff. So I couldn't ask for a better partnership. Let's see here. Monarch is a nice wallet. Good. Mainly use Trust and Samurai BTC only wallet, privacy features on my phone. Both are pretty good. So I'm not the only person that's willing to use phone-based wallets. I get a little pushback from people about it. They say, oh my God, I would never store crypto on my phone. But why not, right? It's hiding in plain sight. Because most of the time you've got a phone. Everyone has a phone with them. So it's not always obvious that you've got crypto on your phone. But if you're carrying around a Ledger Nano X, which can be used on the fly, and someone finds it, then it's pretty obvious that you've got crypto with you, right? So it's sort of like if it's on your phone, then you're basically, it's just there in plain sight, right? So I kind of like the phone-based wallets. They're good for on-the-fly transactions, right? And plus, on crypto phone wallets, you can scan, like if you're sending to something, you can scan the address using your phone camera. So that's pretty cool. What privacy crypto do I like? Dash, XMR, or Zcash, etc. Well, I kind of like Monero. I like... it's been around a while, and I've done some videos on Monero. Let's see here. Where are we? If we go back here, and of course I've revealed my Monero wallet to the world, but I'm sort of doing it as a labor of love. So this video here is a pretty good, it shows you how to buy Monero and store it in the Monero wallet, right? And you want to use Monero, oops, get Monero. Oh. Come on, Rex. Yeah. There's Monero.com. There's all these misspellings on Monero on the web, so be careful. Whoops. Why is it doing that? Getmonero.org. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know. I'm on the right site. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm streaming right now. It's not really working. I don't know. I got a Monero wallet running too over here. So I'm just going to turn it off. Maybe that's why it's not letting me. So, and we talked earlier about the way Bitcoin works, and that Bitcoin is not encrypted. Bitcoin uses cryptography to validate balances and transactions, right? In many, there's different ways that it's implemented using, when you send transactions, your private key signs the transactions using a cryptographic function. And then when people are mining Bitcoin, they use hash functions to verify the blocks, right? And that's how the blocks are immutable. Like the block gets hashed, and then there's a hash to the previous block on each block so that the blockchain becomes immutable. But the transactions are not encrypted, right? They're not scrambled. But Monero does. Monero encrypts the sender and receiver so that the sender does not reveal his balance when he sends Monero to someone. If I send you Bitcoin, or if I ask you to send me Bitcoin, I have to give you a receiving address. And all you have to do is look up that receiving address on the internet, and you can see that how much is in that address, right? It reveals the address, it reveals the balance of that address. Anyone can see it on the blockchain. So Monero is different, right? If I want to send Monero to someone, I'm not revealing personal information by sending Monero to someone, and vice versa. Now, there are ways to verify that I received Monero from someone, right? They can generate what's called a proof transaction to prove that their wallet actually sent the Monero, if there's any disputes, right? And of course, you know, if I talk to someone and I ask them to send me X amount of Monero, and they do, and I get it, and then, you know, we can agree. It's usually, you know, between trusted parties anyway, right? We just want it to remain private. So there's nothing wrong with being private. And I think Monero, although it's getting a lot of grief from, you know, the government and the mainstream media as being used by criminals, there's really nothing criminal about wanting to keep your financial transactions private. Although, as we mentioned earlier, the government is beginning to criminalize certain anonymous transactions, right? If they're over a certain amount, it's a crime to pay. You know, if I want to buy a used car with cash, that's a crime. This is weird, isn't it? So anyway, as far as I know, it's not illegal to use Monero, unless it's you know, you're not paying taxes on that income or whatever. That's different, right? Whatever income. But if I get paid from my job and it's on my W-2, and then I use that money that I earned legitimately to buy Monero, there's nothing illegal about that, as far as I know, but I could be wrong. Yeah, there's a question there about the cards, the Crypto.com cards. when you stake that money, it's like the crypto and you're agreeing to keep it there. Now, I don't know what happens after you're done staking. I'm assuming that if you unstake, that you won't be able to use that card anymore. I could be wrong about that. But if you look at the Crypto.com MCO Visa card, it has like a little area where it says I thought I had it somewhere. It says somewhere that the card is, oh, I think it's here. Yeah, and the MCO. Oh, there, it says unstake in 65 days. So, but I'm not sure what would happen after that time if I say, oh, I want to unstake it. They might say, oh, well, then the card will get deactivated unless you like keep it staked. Or you might say, okay, I want to unstake it, and they'd say, okay, fine, but if you unstake the card, it'll go back to the free card status, right? In other words, your card wouldn't have all the benefits that that staked card has. So let's say, okay, at the end of my term, I say, you know what, I'm gonna unstake my $5,000 card, and I want to move down to only 500, and I'll take back the remaining 4,500. Then they'd say, okay, well, that means that now your cashback's now 3 instead of 4. And right, and you can't use you don't get discounts on Expedia anymore. But I mean, they've got different colors here, so they might say, well, we'll send you the 50 card, and just cut the old card. Or you can just say, you know what, I'm going to stake it again, and I'll just keep the card. Yeah, I'll have to find out more about that. The next time I talk to him, I'll ask him about that. Because, the 50,000 MCO, you get all kinds of cool benefits. I don't know about this. Higher limits, all that stuff. Right. So, but it's not permanent, right? Whatever money you staked, you can get back at the end of that term. You just have to, commit to that term. But you can get it back when the term is over. It's just you'll probably deactivate the card by doing that. Yeah, you're going to have to leave that 500 in as long as you want to keep using the card. That's my thinking, right? All right. Richard Hart's Hex project. Someone asked me about Hex before. Let's see. Where am I? I get all confused in my browsers. Let's turn this off. Let's clean up some of these. I think I took a look at it before. So it's an ERC20 token, at least in this description. Built on the Ethereum platform. Interesting. Is it a scam? A lot of coins, I'll just Google the name of the coin and the word scam after it to see if there's any articles that have been talked about that it was a scam. All right, so it's kind of a staking thing. Someone told me about some blockchain-based operating system in a comment, and I checked it out, and it was kind of like there was no operating system yet, but they were willing for me to invest in them. I was kind of like, why don't you show me your operating system and let me test it out, and then I'll decide if I want to invest in it. So there are a lot of projects out there that don't have working products they have an idea. So I don't know. I haven't done that much research into hex. Well, I'm not too crazy about that that statement there. Hex is designed to increase in value faster than anything else in history. That's a bold statement. It sounds scammy to me. But like I said, this is the first I've heard of it. I like their website. That's kind of cool how that follows me around. But in history? I mean, come on. Just tell me it's good. Don't tell me it's the best thing ever in the history of mankind. That's a little over the top for my comfort level. Okay. And so, you know, there's this guy here that's obviously some kind of guru. He's going to tell me how great hex is. I don't know. I have to look into it. But that statement there just kind of turned me off right there. Faster than anything else in history. And what do I do to sign up? I deposit my Bitcoin, right? Send me your Bitcoin and everything will be just fine. But I don't know. I don't know who Richard Hart is, to be honest with you guys. He's probably, yeah, here he is. Bitcoin, blockchain, cryptocurrency, internet marketing expert who has founded and managed several successful internet startups. I don't want to talk bad about the guy. I haven't done my research. I'm just giving you first impressions. Cocky. The name Hex is a bit scarier. Oh, VForge is no more. Interesting. VE Chain Sync. All right, let's check it out. Okay. Is this it? Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if this is going to, like, give me...
Use the rarity on precursor first.
Is that it? Okay.
Its rarity is
I'm just wondering if it'll connect to my ledger.
T to 10. With 10. So yeah.
Create now. Aha! See, here's a ledger link over here.
If you have the precursor mine, it'll
All right, so
drop one of the precursor ores.
let's turn this guy on
And
here.
then it'll upgrade. It'll process by 500 times.
Oops. All right, so we want to get out of this wallet. Quit. Let's go over to VE Chain. I think it's this way. Is that it? Yeah. Let's go into VE Chain. All right. And now the wallet should recognize that I've just logged in. I don't know which account is which. I'm going to, whoops. Whoa. Device name. All right. Let's call this one Ledger. Whoops. Okay. I'm just going to keep holding this so you guys can see it. It's kind of weird. Oops. So, let's see. Import. Okay, right. So this guy is the one with the balance. 9,000 VET. I can copy this address, or I could get the QR code if I want to send some more from somewhere else. I don't know how I would send it out. Wallets. Okay, yeah, cool. There's the wallet. Transfer, right? We'll hit transfer. And we'll give a recipient address and an amount. And we could transfer some out if we want. Or we could stop, not do that.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, should do a video on that. It wasn't too difficult, right? And it connected to my existing VET balance that was where the keys were stored on my ledger, right? You remember the ledger does not hold cryptocurrency, it holds keys, right? So the VET address that had a balance, I was able to unlock using my private key. I could have created an empty one using this software too. But it's sort of a browser, so I don't know like what other kind of cool stuff it does. It might be kind of cool.
It used to be, but it got nerfed.
Right. So it's kind of like a web browser. So it should probably run VForge apps or whatever. So it's got its built-in wallet. And then, kind of cool, right? Glitter. I don't know what that's all about. Cool. Look at all this stuff. Looks like fun, right? We can maximize it. Just go to town. They've created their own ecosystem. Looks pretty cool. All right, let me turn this guy off here. Well, that was fun. Rex, having trouble using Nano S for my Ether wallet. Well, first of all, you don't need my Ether wallet anymore to view your ERC20 tokens, right? Your Ethereum account supports your tokens, right? So you can view all of your tokens using Ledger Live. Now, so you might want to just do that. Now, if you're having trouble logging into my Ether wallet, and it's telling you something like it's not the right version, let's log into it. You might need to go update your, if it's a Ledger Nano S, you might want to go just double check to make sure you're running the latest firmware, right? And I need to switch here. You might want to try both of these. Maybe you needed to be on one or the other, right? Most likely the default, but mine is Ledger Live. So hit next, and I need to be in the Ethereum app.
Wow, this guy, he was in his class, and
When I'm in the Ethereum app, I'll try again.
20 years ago,
There it comes.
and someone in class was using their
All right, we'll click that. We'll hit the check, access wallet, and it appears to be working. So if it's not working, but it's telling me the exact same thing Ledger Live is telling me, right? Same balance, same ERC20 tokens. There are some like old stale tokens that are showing up here that have no value, that are not showing up in my Ledger Live, because Ledger Live doesn't support every single ERC20 token out there. But so maybe you've got some really, some kind of shaky ERC20 tokens that you want to just, confirm you still have in my Ether wallet, some airdrops and that kind of stuff. Right. So I'm sorry. What I was going to say is go to your Ledger Live, go to your manager, and use your Ledger Nano S, connect it, and then check up here in Manager at the very top. It should say if you've got a Ledger Nano S connected, and let's just do it. I'll connect my Ledger Nano S. I'll allow Ledger Manager. All right, so if you've got a Ledger Nano S connected, it should tell you that the firmware version is 1.5.5. If you're not on that, then you should update your firmware. And then, after you've got the latest version of the firmware, try My Ether Wallet again. And if that doesn't work, sometimes you need to refresh MyEtherWallet. If it's been, see it says new update found, please refresh your browser. Maybe refresh your browser a few times before you dive in. And then let's do that again. Actually, I don't have the Ethereum app on the Ledger Nano S, so I can't use it. I don't really have time to install it. But so those are the things I would try. Refresh the browser, make sure the firmware is up to date using Ledger Live, and then try again on MyEtherWallet. And worst case scenario, just use Ledger Live to view your ERC20 tokens, because the latest version of Ledger Live supports ERC20 tokens now. Okay, so you are up to date on the firmware. Can see your balances on Ledger Live, but can't log into MyEtherWallet. That's kind of weird. I don't know. Maybe try different browsers. Worst case scenario, try on someone else's computer. Maybe there's some kind of glitch in your browser. I don't know that. I don't know. Maybe clear the browser history, the browser cache. I don't know. I've kind of thrown out all the troubleshooting that I know of on MyEtherWallet. But I hope you are able to manage to log into MyEtherWallet. So try some of those steps that I outlined, and hopefully you'll find your way in. Okay. Well, at least you're up to date on your firmware, Plan X, so best of luck to you. So I'm going to sign out, guys. It's been real. I maybe talked a little bit about boring stuff that had nothing to do with crypto, but I'm hoping that, you know, you'll get a good rounded education by checking into the live stream, because I do like to talk about security, passwords, privacy, anonymity, and all that other stuff related to cryptocurrency. So I hope I didn't bore anybody to tears tonight. No, you don't need Mu to move your coins. You can move them using Ledger Live, right? So if I want to send out some polymath, I can use send and receive just within Ledger Live. I don't need to go to MEW to send and receive ERC20 tokens. Like I said, the MEW shows some old non-value tokens that maybe you might need to look at in MyEtherWallet. But most of the main functionality that you use MEW for is now built into Ledger Live. Right? You can send and receive, you can view your balance, all that stuff. Right? So I don't use MyEtherWallet anymore. I just use Ledger Live. But it still has some features that are not in Ledger Live. So I'm not saying you shouldn't use it at all, you know, or if you prefer MyEtherWallet, there's no reason to, you know, use Ledger Live if you're happy with MyEtherWallet. It's personal choice. Hope things work out for you, Plan X. And like I said, maybe try on a different machine. See if you can get logged in. Maybe it has to do with your operating system or the browser version. There's all kinds of like weird things that contribute to error messages on MyEtherWallet. So I hope it works out for you. Let's see. Don't forget to tune in next week for the live Q&A from Michigan. I'll do my best to get your questions answered. We'll talk about Bitcoin. We'll talk about Bitcoin cryptocurrency and news, privacy, anonymity, all that good stuff. And I'll move some crypto around. I don't think I moved anything tonight. Anyway, sorry about that. We'll get back to it next week. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you'd like to subscribe to my channel, I would appreciate it. When you subscribe, there's a little bell that you can click that will allow you to be alerted whenever I post new content. Once again, thanks for joining me, and hope to see you again soon.